Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 36 of what if Naruto had multiple people sealed inside of him. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends, your social media platform. And also, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto was neglected by everyone that I posted on this channel and enjoy. And I also posted a new episode of What If Naruto was a Vampire over on Anime King 2. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well, guys. And later on I'm going to be giving you an episode of What If Aizuna was Naruto's ancestor. So stay in tune for that, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoyed videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And also comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails.
So, the last part we left off, Naruto, Eva, and Negi went to go and get the last piece of the Grandmaster key from the Six Tails. As they subdued the Sixth Tail, while on their mission, Tsunade saw a bunch of papers coming into her room. As the papers formed Konan, as Naruto had reported to Tsunade what he did in the past, as Konan realized that what Naruto said was true, even though she couldn't tell anyone about this. But she could talk to Tsunade freely about it, as Tsunade told her that she and Naruto was connected, so whatever she was about to tell him, she can tell her as well. But unknown to them, white Zetsus were in the room. Seeing that he lost black Zetsu to gather information, the masked man has planted white Zetsus as they were deep down into the earth. As the white Zetsu spawned, informed to his other friend, as he then came back to the masked man, who quickly subdued Konan and sent her into a different dimension, as he told Nagato what she was doing right at the moment. As the paper clone then felt the connection cut between her and the original, the masked man then gathered all the members of the Akatsuki, including Sasuke, as they started their assault on Konoha, as he teleported all of them there, while teleporting Nagato nearby, seeing that Konan already built a tree for him to stay in while attacking Konoha. As the masked man went to the Fuhen compound, as he fused explosive all around the compound inside as well. It will take some years for the tail beast to be reformed, but once the Fuhens are dead, especially Naruto Fuhen, he wouldn't have a problem in taking care of them and capturing them and still go along with his plan. So he placed the explosive seals all over. Nagato quickly realized the true power of the Fuhen clan, even without their leader there. The Fuhen members were a good help in Konoha, as they managed to kill all of the paths of pain, and seeing that Jiraiya was also there along with Might Guy, they were able to take out the Akatsuki members like they were nothing. The Akatsuki was the big threat on Konoha, seeing how powerful the village has gotten. Naruto and Negi and Eva came back to the village as they got the final piece, as they could re-meet the Master Key now. Sasuke also came back, as Sasuke went into a fit of rage as he went insane, thinking that this woman in front of him wasn't his mother, thinking that it was an illusion by Naruto, as he started to release Amaterasu everywhere, just saying it over and over until he sapped his chakra, until he dropped down dead from chakra exhaustion. As Mikoto pleaded with Naruto, even though she was angry at Sasuke, he turned out like an image of Fukaku. She still wanted her family, with him and Itachi here. As Naruto brought back everyone, every civilian that might die in some explosion or anything when the Akatsuki attacked. Meanwhile, the Nine-Tail and Kushina was fighting Tendo Pain, but he suddenly collapsed, as they didn't know what happened, as the masked man was the one who killed Nagato. As he no longer see any use for him, he had a last pain remaining, as he took his eyes and headed off. Sasuke woke up as he realized he was alive, as Naruto told him he was lucky just because of his mother, that's why he saved him. We then had a time skip as a masked man entered the village. As he smiled, as he activated all of the seals, the Fuhen compound then exploded, taking a good size of the block around it with it. Everything was in shambles. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. Before we start guys, the fanfiction ended. Yeah, it ended. He didn't really have an ending, so I'm gonna be finishing it for you guys. I started doing my own thing about 2 episodes back, so in the last 2 episodes they were mine, and I'm gonna be finishing this series for you guys so you guys can enjoy. I don't want to be leaving it on a sour note by just ending it like that. So I do hope you enjoy my part of the episode as well guys, and keep on enjoying them, and I have a good ending for you guys. Just stay in tune and continue to watching. So let's begin this new episode. The masked man was a distance away, watching everything, as he was on a hill a distance away from Konoha, as the smoke was huge, with a big smile on his face, as the white Zetsu came out of the ground. "I doubt any of them survived that," he said. As the masked man then turned. "The Fuhens are done for," he said as he started to walk away. "I doubt that," said a voice. As the masked man was frozen when he saw Zetsu jump out of the ground. Zetsu quickly changed. The masked man didn't know who it was, but it was Eva, as Eva stood there with a smile on her face. As he looked at her, "You're a Fuhen member," he said. "Huh, it seems you survived the explosion or you weren't in there." "Well, not really," she said as she pointed back to the village. The masked man's eyes went wide, well his one visible eye, as there wasn't any explosion or any smoke coming from the village. "What's going on?" he said. He then saw a couple other Fuhen members down the hill as they released a cloak over the village. As he then heard chuckling behind him as he turned around to see Naruto standing there. "Huh, you really think that you can get the drop on me?" said Naruto. "You should know." As Naruto activated his combination eyes, 3 circles in his eyes, each of them possessing 6 totem. So in all, that gave him 18 totem in each eyes. "My eyes are far more advanced than yours. I knew that you were up to something. The moment I got home, a seal showed me a projection of what you did. And we quickly found you, hidden your appearance very well. We just want to wait till the right time to strike, and Eva there switch herself with your white Zetsu spawn after she kill it." "You really think you could outsmart me?" said Naruto. As Eva then jumped away. As Naruto smirked. "It's complete," he said as he looked up. The masked man noticed a purple barrier. As he chuckled, "You're saying that I should be smart. Do you really think that this can hold me?" As Naruto then lowered his head. There's a dimension where time flowed differently from here. As the masked man looked around to see other Fuhen members, such as Chao, Negi, and the others, they all had their hands on the ground. As a smirk was on all of their faces, as they all released the ground. The barrier then glowed, as it then stopped. "I've been thinking about your powers for approximately 2 years now, but out here, time doesn't really flow that quickly. So I found a way to stop your powers, infusing this barrier with the power of the Sharingan which all of my members possess, and my new combination eyes, giving it a little tweak. So try and run," said Naruto. The masked man tried to suck himself in a swirling vortex, but he couldn't. He couldn't use his Sharingan. As the masked man narrowed his eyes at Naruto. "What have you done?" he said. "You cannot use your Sharingan in here." "What about those eyes?" he asked, looking at Naruto. "Well, you see, my eyes are different. They are something far more powerful than the Sharingan, something you will never possess." Upon saying that, Naruto vanished. As he appeared in front of the masked man, he pulled back his fist and smashed it right in the mask, sending the man flying as he hit the barrier. The mask cracked on impact and it exploded. He hit the barrier and slumped down. As everyone's eyes went wide. "Huh? That's not Madara," said Negi as he looked over at Eva. "It's not," said Chao. Remember Naruto showed us Madara in that book, but that's not him. So who the hell is that? Asks Kanaka. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at the masked man, you're telling me all this time we were thinking that you were Madara, but you're not? A book then appeared in Naruto's hand. Who are you? He asked, but the masked man didn't say anything as he got up. As the name came in the book, Obito Uchiha. Obito Uchiha? Wait, you're Kakashi's friend. Yeah, he told me about you. When the rocks fell on you, squashing half of your body, well, that will explain that side of your face. But all of this time, Kakashi blamed himself thinking that you were dead. But you've been causing havoc and pain and destruction everywhere. That makes it even worse, said Naruto, as the book vanished. While I was healing Kakashi a long while back, I felt some of his grief when he was talking about you and this girl called Ren. Don't say her name, said Obito. Shut your mouth, said Naruto. You have put him through so much when you were still alive. Becoming a criminal? You rotten bastard. That is why I won't allow Kakashi to find out that you live. It will give him too much stress. Obito Uchiha, you will die here. And there's no way you can escape from me, said Naruto. For all of your misdeeds, you will not live the rest of the night, Naruto says as he stepped forward. Obito quickly went through hand sign, fire style, fireball jutsu, as he released a huge fireball coming towards Naruto. Naruto waved his hand as a gust of wind blew away the fireball. Obito's eyes went wide. How was that even possible? The wind should enhance the fire. Well, it should, said Naruto. But my wind is 100 times stronger than your fire, Naruto said. As Obito was then feeling a pull on his body. As Naruto pulled him towards him, Naruto grabbed him by the face and sink it down into the ground. As Obito felt his head pushing into the weight. As Naruto picked him out of the ground and threw him against the barrier. As he hit it hard and coughed up some blood. He then dropped on his knees. For all that you have done, for all the pain that you put Kakashi through, said Naruto, you deserve no peaceful death. As Naruto focused on Obito, Obito then started to scream. As Naruto's eyes started to pulsate. As Obito started to scream even more. As his body inside felt like it was being torn apart. And that is exactly what he was doing. Naruto was using the ability to push. He was pushing Obito's body apart. His hand was the first one to explode. His other hand then exploded as his leg exploded as well. As Naruto rushed over to him, as he collapsed on the ground, just his torso and his head. Naruto placed 2 fingers on his head as a white glow enveloped his body. As his wound stopped bleeding. You're lucky. Before you die, I need information, said Naruto, about Nagato and the others. As Naruto sucked him away into a dimension. As they then dropped the barrier. Well, that's over. That was pretty easy, said Chao. I thought there would be something else. But the plan totally worked. And now he's dead. The only thing is left to do is to find out what happened to Nagato. And yeah. As Kanaka walked up. Yeah, that was too easy, she said. What do you mean, said Naruto. Well, you ever hear the saying that too easy brings great difficulty? Not really, said Naruto. She's trying to say that when something is that easy, something dangerous or something bad is going to happen after that, said Eva. Well, I don't think anything bad is going to happen. Once we get the Master Key, I can bring back your world and everyone who died, said Naruto. You can all see your family and your friends again. Hearing that, all of them smiled as they looked at him. You know, you're the greatest leader ever, said Chao, as she gave Naruto a hug. As Eva walked over and hugged him as well. She then went to his ears. Maybe we can have some fun tonight. As she licked his ear, making Naruto shiver. Time skip. A week later. Naruto has gotten a lot of information in the past week. Well, for one thing, Nagato was killed by this Obito Uchiha, and he took his Rinnegan, but that is no more use. It seems like Madara was the one who saved him back then, and trained him. He wanted to do a Tsukuyomi in the world, an infinite Tsukuyomi. Naruto decided to keep this information to himself, seeing that after getting the information he killed Obito. So there's no reason in telling anyone, or putting Kakashi through more grief, as he knew Kakashi blamed himself for Obito's death, and for everything, so he didn't want to bring up anything. Especially since Kakashi is now calm since he got Rain back. He didn't want to tell them that and make them go through another painful life situation, so he was just going to allow them to be together. Knowing that Obito is now dead, most of the Akatsuki is, well, except for 2 members, Naruto decided to clean up his mess. That snake that he left behind. So that is why he left the village without telling anyone, as he think that it will be quick and easy. They are going to fuse the key back together tonight. And once he does that, everything would be unified. It seems that the world would finally be at peace. Well, for the moment, as Chao said. Because nothing good cannot happen forever, she said to him. As Naruto had a lock on Kabuto, and wherever he was, the pedo snake was as well. As Naruto was dashing at godly speeds, you could barely see a blur. He finally arrived to the entrance of the base that they were in. As he looked around, he then went inside. On his way in, he found about 5 stone ninjas, but he quickly silenced them as he was getting close to Kabuto. As he came upon a room, as he saw Kabuto in there, a man was strapped down to a table and Kabuto was experimenting. Naruto walked over as Kabuto didn't even sense him. Naruto was blending with the shadows. As Naruto then came out of the shadows, his presence was known as he placed a hand on Kabuto's shoulder. "You've lived too long," said Naruto. One snap off his neck as Kabuto's body fell to the ground. As Naruto looked down at the man who was on the table, the man's leg was gone and his arm as well. It seems like Kabuto was experimenting on him, but the man was still alive. As Naruto did the best thing to just put him out of his misery, as he placed his hand on the man's chest, as his hand started to heat up, as he incinerated the man's body. Naruto then headed off, as he went through the halls until he finally found it, Orochimaru's throne room. As Orochimaru was inside, he was also doing some disgusting experiments. There was about 10 bodies in the room. It seems like Orochimaru was splicing some DNAs, trying to gain some new bloodline or something like that. But that didn't concern Naruto. Orochimaru was his mistake and his mess, seeing that he could have killed him a long while back. "Hey, we really need to talk," said Naruto. Orochimaru's eyes snapped open when he heard that, as he slowly turned around. As he backed back, "How did you find me?" "I never lost you," said Naruto. "Well, nice place you have here, experimenting like that. You know, you really disgust me. That is why I came here to fix up my mistake." "Your mistake?" said Orochimaru. "Exactly," said Naruto. "Now, what do you say we end this?" Orochimaru smirked. It's not gonna be that easy like last, but he couldn't get to finish that sentence, as one of his arms were blown off, as it exploded into pieces, as Naruto already had his combination ice activated. "Orochimaru, you know, if you would have been good, these eyes, they are a masterpiece. You would have wanted to work on them and study them and their abilities. Because not even I know the full capability of myself right now. But just because you're an evil scumbag pedophile, I can't allow you to live." As Orochimaru was gasping as he was looking down at his arm, Naruto didn't even touch him or weave any hand sign, as he looked around for a place to escape, as Naruto started chanting in his mind. Naruto then slammed his hand on the ground. The entire room froze in a second, as ice froze Orochimaru up to his neck. As Naruto walked up to Orochimaru, "Look what you have done here. All these bodies, killing people for no reason, because of your lousy experiments." Naruto's eyes then snapped when he noticed one of the people Orochimaru was experimenting on. It was a young girl. She looked to be no older than 13. From what Naruto could tell, her blood, all of her blood was drained out of her. She was already dead before he came here. But right now, all of them was frozen, since he froze the entire room in a second. Orochimaru struggled as he tried to get away, as He opened his mouth as wide as he could, as another Orochimaru started to slip out, but Naruto grabbed the top of his head, as his entire body glowed yellow, as Naruto shoved him back into his mouth, pushing him down back deep, as Naruto started to chant in his mind, as he then released a blast that incinerated Orochimaru and everything in a long radius. Any ninjas that might left in this base was incinerated. As Naruto then looked up, as the ceiling exploded, wings extended from his back, as Naruto flew straight up into the air. As he looked down, he then placed his hand out, as he started to chant. After he done chanting, a golden arrow appeared in front of his hand. As he released it, the arrow went straight down until it hit. Naruto then flew back, as an explosion incinerated the base and everything around for miles. Since Naruto didn't sense anything nearby, this was in a place where no one really visited. As everything was incinerated to make sure that Orochimaru was dead once and for all. As Naruto looked back, he then flew away. Time skip. The entire Fuhen members, along with Tsunade, all of them, were in the clearing near the Fire Country. They didn't know how it would react when the ki was fully combined, if it would release a pulse or anything. So they didn't want to do it near the village, but Naruto ensured them that everything would be fine. Seeing that he already studied the other parts, it's just the last part they need to connect. So right now, all of them surrounded Naruto. As he was in the center, all of the pieces were together. As Naruto placed his hand down on it, "Reversal," he said, as all of the pieces start to shake, as they then start to fuse into one another, as a huge beam of light shot up into the air, as everyone looked up. As Naruto waited, it was then all of them were sent flying back by a powerful aura that shot all of them back. As Naruto looked around as he wondered what the hell is going on, what was that feeling? He then noticed something. The Kyuubi, the Ichibai, the Nibi, even the Three Tails, even though she took over the Three Tails spirit. Even Anya, even though she took over the Four Tails, all of them were glowing. As all of them started to scream, "What's going on?" Naruto asked, as he was looking at them. As Negi ran over to Anya. "What's happening?" Negi asked. As Anya started to scream, "I can't take it anymore," she said. As Naruto watched all of them turn into full light, as they fly forward towards the beam of light that was shooting up in the air. People of Konoha wondering what the hell was that, as the light went straight up past the clouds. All of the tail beasts, all of them flew into that beam of light. Naruto noticed the other lights from the other tail beasts, even though he left them and just removed the key fragment. All of them flew right into that beam of light, as Naruto was wondering what the hell is going on. The ground then started to shake as a huge wave of pure aura just shot out, blowing them back again. As Naruto was uneasy, this power was something else. The light then started to calm down. All of the Fuhen members' eyes went wide, as Naruto saw something that made him shocked. It was the same person we saw when he was coming back to this time, and he was being disintegrated. But this wasn't supposed to be real. As a tall man in a black cloak stood there. He then slowly removed the cloak over his head. He had long white hair, while his eyes were dark, just completely dark, no pupil or anything. As they were pulsating with power, he had a big build, muscles packed in all over his body, but not too grotesque. As he looked at all of them, "My dear Eva," he said, "it's been a long time, Evangeline." As Eva's eyes went wide as she couldn't believe it. Asuna stepped forward. "It can't be," she said. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at the man. "No, you can't be him," Naruto said. "Oh, Naruto," the man said. "How do you know my name?" Naruto asked. "Because I've been watching you. Ever since the first fragment of the key was placed inside of you, I've been keeping an eye on you. None of you knew." Huh. But I was so ecstatic when you all decided to combine the key fragments and bring me back. How is this possible? Said Negi as he stepped forward. And what did you do to her? Oh, your precious friend. I have consumed all of their power back again. And I have consumed all the power of the key. But this time, I won't lose my crap and create a monster like the Jubi again. Although I can feel all of these power from the beast you call it, they were a part of the Jubi. As I was even there back then when you all were sealed inside of it. I was watching all of you just sealed in that crystal. You don't know how many times I wish I could just come out and kill all of you. Hinata stepped forward. Who is he? Hinata asked. That's a light maker, said Naruto. But he turned into the Jubi. How is he here? Good question, said Naruto. How are you alive? Well, the thing is, when I consumed all that power and I was losing my mind, I still had a part of my mind that was fully conscious to what was going on. So I split up my soul into the key, thinking that it would revive me once this was all over. But the key broke, and it was still inside the Jubi. But thankfully, the Sage of Six Paths split the Jubi into 9 pieces, and piece of the key went into all of them. I just had to wait till the right time. And you, my boy Naruto, you brought me that opportunity by reforming the key. Once the key was whole again, my soul was free. And all the power that I got, it returned back to me, along with this new boost of the Jubi, and also the key fragment. With the key complete, all of that power fused into me, and you have given me all that I wanted. It doesn't matter, said Naruto. We stopped you last time, and we will stop you again. Well, that's where you're wrong, the Light Maker says. He stepped forward, as he just barely stepped on the ground. As the place shook, a massive earthquake. As the ground cracked open, trees collapsed, as people were sent flying back. When Naruto and the others stood his ground. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at the man, this power was on another level. I have absorbed the complete key. And last time I went crazy, turning into the Jubi. But now I have the power under my control. And also, he said, as he raised his hand, Naruto felt a pull on his body. As he was pulled forward, Naruto quickly went 100% as he changed. His teeth get sharp. His eyes turn red. Wings extended from his back. His fingernails turned into claw. As Naruto brought out his fist and thrust it forward. But to his surprise, the Light Maker caught it like it was nothing. You're not on my level, boy, he said. As he gripped Naruto on the stomach. As he started to draw something out of Naruto, Eva shot forward. The Light Maker simply raised his hand as she was sent flying back. The others run behind him as they started to chant. He smirked. "Begone!" he screamed. As all of them were blown away by his voice. Negi came dropping out of the air with a sword in hand to impale in his head. The Light Maker raised his other hand as he grabbed the sword. He smirked at Negi. He then released the sword, making Negi stab the ground. He grabbed Negi by the throat as he released the hold on Naruto's stomach. "Thanks for the boost," he said, as Naruto's eyes felt dizzy. He just drew some of his life force out of him. Naruto didn't know how he did it, but he drew out his life force. As the Light Maker then grabbed Naruto by the neck. The two males of the group. The only males, that is. "Naruto, I really don't have anything against you. You're the one who helped me after all. But you, Negi, you are a big reason why I was sealed." And all of the girls' eyes went wide as the Light Maker snapped Negi's neck and tossed his body up in the air. He released a light. It was a light that teared Negi's body to pieces, leaving nothing behind. Naruto stood there unmoving as Naruto couldn't believe what he was seeing. He then heard a primal scream behind him as Negi girls were beyond pissed. The Light Maker threw Naruto aside as Tsunade rushed over and caught him. "Naruto, are you okay?" she said. As Naruto was out of it, His eyes were still dizzy. As all of the girls rushed forward, the light maker brought up his hand as it started to glow. He then pushed his hand forward as a beam radiated off of it, splitting two of them in half. Eva jumped behind him as she tried to stab him right in the neck with her sword, but he jumped out of the way. "Oh, my dear Evangeline," he said. As Eva's eyes went wide, he was right behind her, but Chow pushed her out of the way. As Chow got a hand bursting through her back, tearing through her heart, as the light maker threw her down to the ground. Pretty simple," he said, as a smile was on his face the entire time. "The last time you guys sealed me, I won't allow that to happen again. And I thank you, Naruto, once again for bringing them all here, so I can kill all of them at once." Naruto got to his feet. "Naruto, no," said Tsunade, as she saw how weakened he was. He couldn't face off against anyone now. As Tsunade looked at Kanaka, "Kanaka, go. Get every available ninja in the village. He cannot withstand them all." "No," said Naruto. "He will wipe them all out. Don't send an army after him. He's too strong." "So what should we do?" asked Tsunade. "Well, I won't give you that time," said a voice. As Naruto's eyes went wide, the light maker was right in front of him. But he wasn't after Naruto. He grabbed Tsunade by the throat. Tsunade tried to punch him, but a barrier activated around him, as all of her fists just boomed away. He then started to squeeze. "No," said Naruto, as he squeezed his fist and slammed it right into the light maker's stomach with all of his strength. But his eyes went wide when he saw the light maker didn't even move, not even an effect. He tossed Tsunade to the side as he looked at Naruto. He grabbed Naruto by the shirt as he raised him up. He then held on to Naruto's neck. "You know what I am, right? You have feel my power, but yet you still fight me. The others cannot comprehend my power. But you, Naruto, you're on a level that can make you feel my power. Yet you cannot stand off against me, but you can." The light maker stared into Naruto's eyes with his dark, lifeless eyes. As Naruto felt that power wash over him, his entire body felt stiff. He felt like he was going to piss his pants. Kushina and Mikoto was running towards the scene as they just got here. Kushina went to inform Mikoto to bring her out here because she was at the prison where Sasuke was. He did abandon the village after all and join the Akatsuki, so they put him in jail, but he wouldn't stay there for too long. As the both of them arrived to see the scene, with Naruto being grabbed by the throat as he was frozen in this guy's arm, Kushina quickly summoned her sword as she rushed forward with Mikoto, as the both of them tried to impale him from the back. "No," said Kanaka, but they didn't stop, but their swords breaked as an invisible shield appeared. The light maker smirked as he released Naruto, who dropped to the ground a thud. Naruto was still unmoving. He just witnessed something that he couldn't even comprehend. That power was something beyond his grasp. That key was different. The key gave the wielder unlimited power. Before, he couldn't control it, but after spending millennia in the key, his soul fusing with it, he was able to grasp all the power and the potential, given that the key could literally fix back reality. This man is on a whole nother level. As he turned around and smirked at Kushina and Mikoto, as he then walked up to both of them, the both of them jumped back. But in an instant, as they blinked, he was gone. "Behind you," he said. As the both of them spin around, chains extended from Kushina's back. As Mikoto activated her Sharingan, the light maker smirked as he lowered his arm. Both of them fell to the ground as all gravity around them increased, as their bodies dent into the ground. As he had a smirk on his face the entire time, as he kept on forcing and adding more gravity, it was too much for their bodies, as it exploded, squished under the weight. As Naruto was shaking, he couldn't even talk. Through all of his life, once he gained his power, he didn't have any challenge. He used to always be on top, but now, this man is something that he can't beat. All of them will die. all of them will be gone. As Naruto gained a thought, he remembered that Shinigami's stomach is sealed inside of all of them, a piece of it. So, if they die now, he couldn't bring them back. He couldn't use Rainy Rebirth and bring them back. No! Naruto screamed as everything around him was blown away as he got up. Naruto rushed towards the Light Maker. The Light Maker dodged Naruto's punch as he grabbed Naruto's wrist. Naruto brought up his leg, but the Light Maker grabbed it as he flicked Naruto up in the air. Naruto then raised his hand as he created a Rasengan. Run, he said, as all of the girls use Shandu and get out of there, as they vanished in a blur. As Naruto then brought the Rasengan, the moment it made contact, everything exploded. Even the village that was a far distance away, it was shaking under the weight. As most people of Konoha wondered what was going on. When the dust and everything cleared, Naruto was still in mid-air, but he wasn't done yet. As he started to chant, as Naruto get a small ball in his arm as he released it. The moment the ball touched the ground, it exploded. With so much power, the ground was tearing to pieces. The entire world was shaking at this point, as Naruto kept on firing thousands of arrows at one point. He summoned a million clones in the air as each of them started chanting and fire off techniques after techniques, hitting the ground a boom as everything was being torn to pieces. The ground was shaking, the entire earth was vibrating. It was like the world was going to overheat and explode. After a long while of spells and chanting, Naruto finally calmed himself, as all of the girls has disappeared far distance away, because all of the area was destroyed. For anyone who was even nearby would have been wiped out by the amount of attacks. As Naruto waited, as the smoke finally started to dissipate, as Naruto waited some more, Naruto felt his heart sink when he looked down there to see the Light Maker sitting down. He was sitting down. He had a magazine in his hands and a cup beside him. He had the power of creation as well. As he looked up at Naruto, "You done?" he asked. Naruto lowered his arms. He just hit him with everything he got. He focused everything on one point to try and take him out. "You know, Naruto," the Light Maker says he got up. "If it wasn't for me, the world would have probably exploded by now. All of that spell and that magic you used, it was too much. But I stopped the world from exploding. I forced off some of your magic and it didn't really touch the earth, some of it. The ones that were going to make it blow up. But Naruto, I won't kill you, seeing that you were the one who basically freed me. So I'm just gonna send you to a life of pure misery," he said. As he appeared behind Naruto, he grabbed Naruto by the neck. He then tear a hole in space and time as he tossed Naruto inside. As Naruto watched all of his hope and dreams slip away as the hole closed. But guys, this is where I'm going to end this episode. If you enjoyed this, remember to comment down below and tell me what you think of it. And yeah guys, and also stay tuned for what if Aizuna was Naruto's ancestor. So yeah, without further ado, I'm off now. Peace.